Alright, now for the fifth part of this mini-series about making my mold for my Vaquform for 1/27th, 1/28 scale RC cars. I'm now on my balcony under pretty hardcore sun. It's about 34 degrees right now in Hong Kong. We are the 15th of May 2020. The world is surviving the end of the world plague, and I'm now doing all the manual labor that is required to make the 3D printed that I've shown in the episode before good for molding. And so there is no shortcuts to it. It's just a lot of sanding, a lot of filing. Later on there will be all the body filler and so on. Right now I'm working first on the 3D printed parts. The only thing really that I'm going to need to do with the body filler is the gap that I have where the two pieces of the mold were joined, and then the rear of the car. When I showed before, it was a very small degree angle, and so you see all the steps from the 3D printer trying to make this angle. So this is going to require a full coat of body filler later on. But so the first step is that I'm doing it in the water because the dust from the CA glue and the ABS is not wonderful to breathe and to get your clothes covered in. So I feel doing it in the water just saves from all that discomfort. The other thing as well that's good with the water is that you can see the surface changing with the shininess of it. So I'll keep while I'm doing it pointing the mold to the camera to show you see the different layering that you have from the 3D printing disappearing slowly. And then you can hear it as well, because when you start filing you have a grinding sound from filing all those thousands of layers, and that sound disappears little by little when you are filing a smoother surface, or when you're sanding a smoother surface. So visually, by sound, you can tell how is the surface going, and by feel, once again with the water, it's really great to have this medium between you and the mold, and you are able to feel any imperfection. You are really able to feel what the surface is starting to be like with your skin. And so it's a long process. This video is about 250% of the normal speed, and I'm done, I would say, maybe 30%. I've done basically one side and a little bit of the front. I'll have to do the same work on the other side, and then all the bondo work, and then another pass of sanding to make everything smooth. And then of course there is no telling what the mold will look like, what the final product will look like until cheers, until I'm starting to Vaquform some pieces. So you see over there I'm about halfway done with one side. I'm starting to go on the top, and I'm sorry for a lot of the angles. You can't really see what I'm doing, but it's tough. It's a really small surface. There is a lot of intricate parts to get into, and you can see the tail rats that I'm using is fairly big. It's an aggressive file that I'm using, but I find on the hard ABS with the CA glue, it's really the best way to just go very quickly, get rid of all the layering very quickly, and then you can do all the detailed work with the wet sandpaper. At the end, dry sanding can be as well quite useful to try to keep a lot of the edges a bit sharper, because sanding it the way I'm doing now is going to dull a lot of the sharp angles that you have. So yeah, something to keep in mind. You can do all of this dry sanding. You can print in much higher resolution as well, and if you can print with a powder technology to have an almost perfect 3D print coming out, then but once again, it's the manual labor, I feel, is really, it's important to me. I feel um, I'm a part of making the model, and I feel the development of the shape that you create by hand, like that you can start to tweak a little bit the shape, sharpen some angles, dull some of the parts, add things that you didn't think about designing, is really an interesting part of the design process, because the 3D aspect on the computer, um, it's really not the same to have the physical product in your hand and to actually see the shape, see the proportions, and see how it impacts you visually. And so you can see that the surface on the side that I've been working on is starting to be a lot smoother than the side that I didn't touch yet. And I'm starting to work on the nose. It is a really painstaking part. There is very small area that I'm able to go up and down with a file into. So this is going to require just patience, and I wish there were a shortcut to do some of these spots, but there just isn't. And once again, I mean, if you're, it's a sunny day, you're at home, why not spend the time? I will do quite a few more hours. Yes, you see the results? So, yeah, so if you care for the beauty of your hands, this is not for you. And other than that, I'm giving you a look now at the mold as it is now. I'll have another few hours working on it, and then I'll come back to you guys when I do the Bondo work. Alright, so I'll see you soon. Goodbye.